It's green for go. They're racing. He says go. He says ta-da. And Tiger Tara rolls away from them on the home turn. Here comes another big boil over. Equine athleticism at its best. The King is in the castle once more. This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode. She is a star with a capital S. It's going to be a triple treat. A miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that? It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello, welcome to episode 84 of the Sprint Lane podcast for Harness Racing New South Wales. My name is Greg Hayes and this is the Sunday Session, a podcast where we look back at the week that was in harness racing in New South Wales. As per usual, we'll be concentrating on the Metro meeting for the week, and that was the meeting at Club Menangle on Saturday night. Strong night of racing, dominated by the favourites, but more on that a little bit later. Slot races continue to grow in stature in this part of the world, and it's already down to the success of the Everest, a galloping race run in Sydney. Slots in the race are sold for money, and that money is then added to the prize money. The slot holder then has the right to race, lease, contract, or share a starter or sell their place in the race. The prize money boost is the biggest positive that comes with slot races, and it also allows race clubs to boost stakes significantly without having to go to sponsors or fund from within. Here in Sydney, we've got the Eureka, which is the world's richest harness race, and Harness Racing Australia CEO Andrew Kelly has said on the Sprint Lane podcast previously that the Eureka is unashamedly based on the Everest model. Obviously, these races can't be funded by slot fees alone, so there needs to be a cash injection from somewhere. The Eureka is worth in excess of $2 million. The slot fees bring in $1 million to the industry. They've still got to find another $1 million, and where that money comes from is an argument for another day. However, my point being, in a time where money is tight, especially sponsorship dollars and wagering companies are watching every penny, the landscape is evolving. Wealthy individuals and entities involved in the sport are boosting the stature of the industry with these slot races. Now, there was a cracking night of racing at Cambridge last Friday with the $1 million slot race. The WA racing industry will run its three-pronged event starting on Thursday, moving to Gloucester Park on Friday, and then the Nullarbor, that's with the Nullarbor, and then it culminates with the running of the Quokka on Saturday at the Gallops. Are slot races the elixir of the industry? Will it get to the stage where there are too many slot races run and they'll lose their shine? It doesn't look that way at the moment, and maybe in coming weeks I'll get someone on the podcast who has a better understanding of the industry landscape that can provide an overview and a glimpse into the future. I'll make that my task during the week, see if we can have a chat to someone about slot races and their future. It's definitely an interesting topic worth discussing, and I'll definitely investigate that further. On the podcast this week, I'll look at Club Menangle on Saturday night. I'm going to catch up with the state's leading driver, Cam Hart, to have a chat to him about his night. He had 2 winners. He had a pretty busy week, actually. He was at Young on Friday. He won the Oaks. He travelled to Bathurst on Wednesday for Seaton Grimer as well. He won a race there. So I'll catch up with Cam today to speak with him. Also this week, I want to speak with Dennis Day. Obviously, the final Carnival of Cups meeting for this run is coming up in Goulburn in a fortnight's time. Some huge Australian music acts will be entertaining the crowd. And I thought it might be timely to catch up with the Goulburn president, Dennis Day, to have a chat about the meeting. He's also the trainer of Rainbow Jester, a 2-year-old trotter that made it 2 from 2 after winning at Bendigo on Wednesday night in a heat of the Nutrien Series. Most importantly was the way it won. It galloped at the start. Must have given the leaders 100 metres and still managed to prove too strong in the event. Very hard to tell how far it was actually behind because it was out of the screen. Watching it on the TV. A lot to chat with Dennis about, so I'll catch up with him as well. Plus, this week we've got the Menangle Express. Mr. T will be back with another couple of tips. He got in front for 1 week, but I was able to wrestle the lead away from him again, but more on that later on in the show. Plus, I'll give you an update on what is happening in fantasy harness racing as that begins to reach its climax. Plenty to get through today, so let's get into it. And first up, I'll speak with Cam Hart.
So the leader is Narano. He's allowing Max Delight to slide right up on his outside to be a neck away. Where you've been Boppin's under pressure. So is Pitch Perfect. About to get going is J.O.K. And last of all is Arden's Ace. Third section was 27-1 and Max Delighted. Also Narano go to war. But it's Narano that found a really nice click. 7 or 8 metres clear of Max Delight. Running on is J.O.K. But Narano, he's in front with 100 metres left to go. Max Delight's trying to come again. Narado just drifting up the track, but he's too quick for them. Narado will beat in second spot Max Delight, and third JOK from Arden's Ace. Pitch Perfect.
Good night for Cam Hart at Club Menangle on Saturday night. Another couple of winners, including the feature mares race with Promised Land, and then he took out the fast class of the night, the Joe and Michael Ilsley free-for-all with Narano. Cam's joining me to have a chat. Morning, Cam. How are you?
Yeah, morning, Greg. Good to see you.
Mate, good night at the office for you last night. We saw another 2 victories. Promised Land, the first of them in race 4. She was good.
Yeah, she was awesome. She's been a consistent mare the whole way through her career. And yeah, she was probably getting a little drop back in grade last night, and that probably showed. She got a bit of respect and got some nice sectionals early and dipped up the straight really nice.
So once you're able to lead and were able to set your own speed, you're pretty confident?
Yeah, I was pretty confident once I got that first half, the way I wanted it, and got round the bend pretty comfortable. And she's always been a really high speed sort of mare. So, it didn't surprise me that she dipped up the straight in 26-1.
So she goes now to the Siberia next week?
Yeah, she'll go in that, and she'll be thereabouts. She's obviously got that nice little bit of gate speed, and she'll put herself in a good spot. And yeah, I'm sure if she gets a good run, she might be able to qualify. Now the
free for all Narano. Gee, there was a few more fireworks in the lead time than I expected in that race last night.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting race early. A couple of them were really into it with a 47 lead time. You don't see very often, but yeah, it sort of worked into my hands that I was able to grab hold probably 50 metres after the start. Once I realised they were going to get into a bit of a battle for a while, so. Once I got him to the front end, then I felt pretty confident the whole way. Yeah,
so you were able to pinch the first 2 halves in 29.9 and 30.7, and then you really, once Max Delight got up outside you just made sure that he was working 27.1 and 26.4 up the straight.
Yeah, he was really strong around the bend. Jack sort of come to apply a bit of pressure, and my guy really grabbed the bit and wanted to race him, and I sort of just went with him from then, and he was super impressive to run that last half after. First half pretty solid and the lead time, so no, really happy.
He's only had the 3 runs back from a break. He obviously went round in the Renshaw Cup. You drove him there. He ran third. He then won last week when Jack drove him, and then you've driven him. Speaking with Jack last week, he said that Jace was looking at the Goulburn Carnival of Cups race in a fortnight. He'd have to be competitive in a race like that in the form that he's in at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's his next target, and I think he'll probably be the class horse in that. He obviously won a couple of Inter-Dominion heats his last prep, and I think he's come back even better. He's probably shown a little bit more strength, and he's always been a high speed horse, but for him to win the way he did at Menangle last night, it's really shown that he's strengthened up, and I think he'll be competitive whatever he goes in.
Mate, couple of the beaten runners last night. What did you make of Snakeskin in the 3-year-old race 6, finished second?
Yeah, I thought he was good. He probably just hit the front a little bit early. He can, he's got a tendency to knock off a little bit in his races late. So I think a horse going forward, he's got plenty of ability. He's just still working out, what it's all about. But I was pretty happy with his run.
They ran the hands off the clock in the trot. They went 152.9. Victory Hill, your drive, finished third and got to the line quite well.
Yeah, I was stoked with his run. I thought he went huge. He was a long way off the leaders. They obviously went a really quick first half, and I was probably spotting them 50 metres at the half, and they didn't really get tired up front. But for me to take some ground off them, I was really impressed with him.
And sorry, mate, keep going.
Yeah, I've had a sort of high opinion of the horse the whole way through since Jared's had him, and just had some issues with him trotting, a little bit rough at the end of his races, but he's seemed to, the last couple of weeks get a little bit better that way, and hopefully he's going in the right direction.
And mate, what about outside fighter in race number 1? He's going to pinch one soon, one of these races. He just looks to lack that really high speed, but he can hold his top speed for a while. Yeah,
he's a really strong horse, and credit to Jace. He'd done a few gear changes on him last night, and it really sharpened him up, and he got off the gate well. And I thought I might have nabbed it, but Jack's horse has got a lot of ability and just got me on the line, but he's definitely close to a win on a Saturday, that's for
sure. Mate, you went too young on Friday night and you drove Our Ultimate Ebony for Jared Ouchin. Super impressive, showed good gate speed, and then, up the straight in 28.8. Were you happy with her?
Yeah, she was great. Obviously thought Luxa Turner would take a fair bit of beating if had any luck, but was able to obviously have that barrier draw advantage over her, and she runs some really strong sectionals out in front and did it quite comfortable. So yeah, really looking forward to the New South Wales Oaks now with her, and hopefully she'll get a nice draw.
So you stick with her?
Yeah, I think I will. Yep, she's sort of got that golden ticket, winning that race, so she'll go straight into the final. And yeah, I'd like to stick with Tubby Park when I can.
And there's been a bit of travel for you this week too. You ducked up to Bathurst on Wednesday. You're at Young on Friday, so a little bit more travel than we see from you normally.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bigger week than I'm used to. I got the call from Seaton to go up to Bathurst Wednesday, and obviously he's doing a super job with his team, so I thought I'd head up there and was able to get a winner, and then obviously down to Young for that race. So yeah, a little bit busier, but no, it's worthwhile when you get the result.
Mate, what's the plan? Are you heading across to the west to drive Hot and Treacherous, or are you staying at home? What's the news there?
Yeah, I'll be heading over to drive him. So yeah, that race is on next Friday. So yeah, really looking forward to it, and yeah, hopefully he can get a nice barrier, and he's in a good sort of vein of form at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And
will you catch the red eye home? Are you back for Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do yet. I will be back either at Menangle or Melton. So I'll probably get the red eye and make sure I'm home for that. Yeah,
because it's obviously a big night with the Nutrien finals as well.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a couple of drives down there if I want to take them, or stay at Menangle. I'll just sort of see what I've got at Menangle and work it out from there.
All right, mate. Busy time of year for you, but it's always good to be busy. Mate, congratulations on last night, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
And the green light is up, and they're away. Rainbow Jester crossed quickly here by Voldaga, who's going to find the front. There's more speed out the front. Favourite galloped. Favourites jumped it off here, Rainbow Jester, and is well out of contention early on. And this is now left Aldebaran Zane in front. Rainbow Jester got to second. Aldebaran Abel was third. They've raced clear. Voldaga's getting going again. Galloping was Roman Soldier. Parlez-vous Paddy was there as they work off the back in 31.7. The leader going for home was Aldebaran Zane. Rainbow Jester's in second. They're miles in front of Aldebaran Abel, who's third at the moment. Trying to recover was Voldaga. In the straight though, Aldebaran Zane. Rainbow Jester's charging up along the inside. It's Aldebaran Zane, Rainbow Jester, the favourites coming through, and the favourite somehow won. Rainbow Jester home and beats Aldebaran Zane. It's 50 away to Voldaga, who jumped it off down the back.
Well, not too often you see a trotter give them, was it 100 metres? Probably further than 100 metres. Dennis Day probably can tell us more. Rainbow Jester, very impressive at Bendigo during the week. Was impressive winning at Menangle on debut as well. Dennis Day is the trainer of Rainbow Jester, and he's joining me to have a chat. G'day, Dennis. How are you?
Good, Greg. Yourself?
Yeah, mate, really well. How are you feeling at the start of that Bendigo race when Rainbow Jester went up in the air?
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but anyway, it happened, and we. When he did it, I thought, well, we only got to beat a couple home to get into the final, so I looked at it that way. So we worked it from there.
How far do you reckon you were behind them? Obviously, you're out of the TV screen, so it's very hard for us to make a good guess at how far you were off the leaders.
Yeah, he was a fair way from them. And one point, I thought, I didn't know if we would catch him up, but I let him work up to him slowly, and at the bell I tacked on, so it wasn't too bad then.
And then down the back straight, the leader went up in the air, and once your bloke got back into his rhythm, he seemed to be rock solid.
Yeah, no, once he sort of hasn't made many mistakes and that, so he didn't have a lot of idea what to do when he made a mistake. And then down the back, when the leader galloped lucky, I just wasn't up a little bit closer, it would have collected in there. So we had a bit of luck there too.
And then turning for home, you're able to go back to the sprint lane, and he finished off fuller running.
Yeah, I was just mindful around the turn. I thought, well, I'm going to run second, and I just didn't want to overdrive him or anything like that. He did a fair bit of work to do what he did, and I caught Nathan just at the point of the turns into the home straight, and I thought I'll just have one go up the sprint lane, and they give him a tap, and he responded good, and I give him another one, and he was sort of going away from on the line pretty comfortable.
It was a good win in the end. How's he come through it since the run?
Yeah, no, I come home Thursday and he's eaten up and everything. I haven't did anything with him. I've just got him out in the yard. I'll do a bit with him tomorrow. Go back next Friday.
So tell us the story behind Rainbow Jester. How did you end up getting your hands on him?
We went down to sales with son Aaron and my older brother Mark, and sort of weren't looking to buy anything, more just a day out. And I think they went to get another beer. They'd already had a few of them, and he was in the ring, and they seen him walking around, and they said, "Oh, he's a nice walker," and I don't think that the bids were flowing a little freely, and they stuck their hand up, and I think they ended up with him.
And has he shown ability from the start?
Yeah, he's always sort of shown enough to do. It's a bit hard to get a gauge. With him here, I knew he wasn't going too bad, because when we were breaking him in, I was working with the yearling paces, and he was doing a good job with them. So I thought, well, if he, the main thing, if he trots safe, that's the biggest thing, and he was doing that. So yeah.
And then he looked really good at Menangle on debut. He won there going 2-1.6, but he was never in doubt that day.
Yeah, no, he won good there and did everything right. And he went good trial about a fortnight or so before that. He trialled pretty good.
So Nutrien this week, he's been OD'd for the final. That's obviously going to prevent or make it a little bit tougher?
My word, it will. There's a lot of traffic in front of us.
Mm. So do you think that that's going to be the difference? Is that going to make it, to the point where you can't win the race, or you think you're one of the leading chances going in?
Oh, no, I think he definitely can win it, and that, but it'll be just what happens in front of him. He's got to do everything right too. So they're 2-year-old trotters, so who knows what can happen, isn't it?
Yeah. And how did he handle the trip back and forth from Victoria? No dramas with that? Yeah,
no dramas at all. I went down Thursday afternoon and stayed at Doc Wilson's with him. He ate up everything, and he ate everything after Bendigo, and no, he's taking that all in his stride.
So what will you do with him after the Nutrien final?
I think the foundation heats start here pretty shortly after it, and that, so we'll look at that. I think get over Saturday night first, and then worry about the next lot.
Well, he's obviously a nice trotter to have in the stable, mate. What about your role as president of the Goulburn Club? How's everything going there?
Yeah, we've got a couple of big weeks coming up. We start next Sunday. We've got the York Memorial Day. It's like a $20,000 race, and then a restricted fast class race for 12.5, and the others is 10,000, and then the week after that, we've got a big Carnival of Cups meeting, and it's we've got the cup. It's worth 60, but there's 3 other $20,000 races on, plus the normal races worth 10,000, plus all the entertainment. So it'll be a big couple of weekends.
There's been a fair bit of talk about it in town. I'm in Goulburn, and I know a lot of the locals are looking forward to getting out there. There's obviously a good support for harness racing in Goulburn, but I think having all those bands on the Sunday afternoon should ensure a pretty good crowd.
Oh, definitely. And the people that I speak to can't believe it's for free. I think it's wonderful. It's good that harness racing is being spoken to in town and sort of putting it into the spotlight.
Mate, when you sit back and look at it, you and your family, you must be extremely proud to see harness racing back so strong in the Goulburn area. Obviously, you guys were always training here, but, go back, 15, 20 years, there was, they'd stopped racing in Goulburn, and you guys basically put it on your own back to get it all going again.
Yeah, no, we had our first meeting back in September 2008. That's our first TAB meeting. And before that, like we sort of had to build it, get a track built and get re-licensed and all the rigmarole that went through it. And they said, no, there'd be no more tracks in New South Wales and this, that and the rest of it. And to the credit to, hard working committee and Mark Kawada, especially our secretary, it's to get where we've got is unbelievable when you look around and think we did it on our own. And I think it's been harness racing, New South Wales, they've contributed when we did the track up, when we hammered it up, and they contributed to the function centre and that, but the rest of it's been all hard work and chook raffles.
Yeah, and seeing the Day family's been such a big part of that's obviously got to, you got to sit back and say that's a really good job, well done.
Yeah, no, it is. It's something that I'm really proud that we've been able to get racing back here and that, and then with Dave Ewart moving in, I suppose that was about 20 years ago now, and with the job that Brad and Sam are doing and Dave and that, and the facilities that we have here to work on, like the track, it's great to work on. Then we've got a 1,400 metre sand track, and it's there 7 days a week. You've got nearly all day to use it. The days the dog race, it's a wonderful setup to work horses, especially young ones.
How many horses are you working at the moment?
I work about 8.
Okay. So it keeps you busy enough?
Yeah, that's enough for me. By myself, I poke around and do them.
Will you have any runners on Carnival of Cups Day?
I may have, 1 or 2. We'll just see how they are, yeah.
All right, mate. Well, great to catch up with you. All the best of luck in the Nutrien final, and good luck with that Carnival of Cups meeting coming up in a couple of weeks.
No worries. Thanks, Greg.
That time of the week where I look at every race at Menangle and see if I can highlight a future winner or two. The first race was run over the mile. The favourite was No Heartthrob at $2.10. There was a bit of speed early with Vapor Fire, Outside Fighter and Dual Melody all showing speed, but it was Vapor Fire who crossed down first, and then Outside Fighter kept coming to find the lead. Dual Melody pushed off the inside in the run to the first corner, not wanting to be 3 pegs. 27-1 was the first quarter. They settled down with Outside Fighter in front of Vapor Fire. Clara Juggernaut, Man from Bravos, Has the Courage. Running line, Dual Melody, Our Vinny, Sheffield Sparky, No Heartthrob, American Hammer. There weren't any moves until the final turn, so middle quarters were 29-2, 27-3. Outside Fighter looks to be extremely tough. He just lacks that high kick of speed, and you can see why Cam got on his bike in the third quarter. As they turned, they fanned with No Heartthrob force 5 wide in the straight. The only horse that looked to have traffic issues was Clara Juggernaut, but the rest got their shot. No Heartthrob grabbed Outside Fighter right on the post in a 27-5 final quarter. 151-2 overall. Outside Fighter will win one of these shortly. Our Vinny had every chance. Sheffield Sparky might lob in one of these races at big odds soon and forgive Clara Juggernaut. Race 2, favourite Super Duper Dude at 145. There was some speed in this one early with Super Duper Dude getting off the inside well, but it was Colonia Courage that sped off the wide draw to cross the lot before Super Duper Dude did the retake and then they went into Indian File. So Super Duper Dude, Colonia Courage, Captain Blood, Van Basten. Just roll your own. He better step aside. You bet your Tiger Pie and our Uncle Jim. They stayed that way until they got to the bell when Just Roll Your Own came away from the inside and started that running line. All the horses trailing came away from the inside too. The lead time was 51.7, then 30.9, 29.5, so not a lot of speed. Trainer got going on Super Duper Dude approaching the bend and got them out of their comfort zone. 26.8 through the third. It was never in any doubt. Up the straight, 26.9 for a 156 mile rate. Captain Blood had to wait till it could get clear of the pegs. He finished second. Good effort. Happy to forgive our Uncle Jim. He ran into dead end after dead end, was never fully tested. You Bet Your Tiger Pie looks a front of the field type horse, so might pay to forget and wait until it draws to be handy. Race number 3, the favourite was Bluto at $1.80. It showed good speed early, but Don Lu kept on coming and was able to roll to the front to take the lead. I think it's going to take someone to park Don Lu before we see beaten, really. He's running 150 every week. It's making him very hard to run down. Anyway, back to how they settled down. Marker pegs, Don Lou, Bluto, I Break the Line, Wave the Bill, Boom, Major Perry and Tuppence. Let's Rock and Roll led up the running line. Talent Agent was behind it. 26.5 the first quarter. There weren't a lot of moves, but Morris backed it off in the middle. 29.1, 28.2, made it a dash up the straight. Major Perry and Boom got into the running line down the back. Bluto was struggling on the turn. I Break the Line went inside it to get out after the leader, but Don Lou, too good. 26.1 up the straight, 149.9 overall. I Break the Line was very good in second. He can win soon. Bluto never looked a winning hope. Major Perry was okay, although well beaten. Race number 4, the favourite was Promised Land at $2.40. She was able to hold the lead from the inside comfortably, and they found their spots pretty quickly. So it was Promised Land, My Moonlight Dream, Dragon Tattoo, Maria Alagonda, Smoke Show, and Our Bella Lucia. Running line was Candy's Butterfly, Little Bliss, Ideal in Dreams, and Arden's Delight. 28.2, 29.3 through the first half. The favourite was getting it to suit out in front. Dragon Tattoo got rough, approaching the cages, went into a full stretch gallop, but they all seemed to get around it okay. Cam Hart only had to roll 28.8 through the third quarter. He just made it a dash up the straight. My Moonlight Dream came around it to have a crack, but never looked like troubling the winner. Maria Alagonda, she stuck to the inside. She was never really pressured in the straight. She just got home under her own steam. Final quarter, 26.1. So her last split would have been good, especially her last 200 metres. Not a lot from the rest. I think we will see a few more of the top mares next week in the Siberia. For the record, 26.1 up the straight, 152.4 overall. Race number 5, fast class of the night. There were a few more fireworks at the start than most would have expected. Where You Been Boppin' and Arden's Ace got into a bit of a speed duel. I'm assuming both wanted to sit on the back of Narano, but in saying that, Arden's Ace is normally a leading hand across immediately, and it was a big step up in class as well. But in the end, it was Where You Been Boppin' that led. Arden's Ace relented, sat behind it. Narano came around and went to the top without too many hassles. Now the lead time, blistering, 47.1. Behind those, they settled on the pegs. JOK, Max Delight, Pitch Perfect. Narano backed it off through the first quarter, 29.9. Max Delight got moving to sit outside the leader, 30.7 for the second quarter. Then it became a two-horse duel, 27.1 through the third quarter, up the straight. Narano, Max Delight, they kicked away from the rest. 26.4 home, 152.8 mile rate over the longer trip. Arden's Ace ended up finishing fourth, but ran a cracker of a race for him at this level. His early gate speed, big advantage, but ran a really good race up in grade. Narano now goes to Goulburn for the Carnival of Cups. Race 6, the favourite was Snakeskin at $3.20. Navanta Rising went sideways soon after the start and nearly took Tulaju Beach with it. The latter was severely inconvenienced. Snakeskin showed speed but was crossed by American Spirit, and they settled quickly into position. American Spirit, Snakeskin, Rock and Roll Sloy, Double Fear, Kitsune was caught off the pegs, and Tulajua Beach stuck on the inside. Kitsune tracked forward, ended up rolling to the front with 800 metres to go. First two quarters, 28, 29.4. Snakeskin came away from the inside, not wanting to be pocketed. They ran through the third in 28.5. Snakeskin got to Kitsune. American Spirit rolled to the outside to have the last crack, and Double Fear got to the extreme outside. Snakeskin was grabbed in the shadows of the post by American Spirit. Good drive, Josh Gallagher. Third horse, Double Fear, got home very strongly for third. He can win again soon. Final quarter, 27.3, mile rate 153.2. Race number 7, Constantinople was the favourite, and the trotters at $1.40. When the starter said go, Funky Monkey and Royal Dan were the two that showed speed, but Funky Monkey crossed down to the pegs before letting Royal Dan go. Behind those two, it was Constantinople, The Best Bourbon, Sunny G, Chief Running Cloud, Gunner, Victory Hill, and Jungle Eyes. The speed never backed off in this one. 27.3 first quarter, 28.5 second. The first two got well in front of the rest. With 600 metres to go, Victory Hill came away from the inside, but the speed was still on up in front. 28.3 for the third quarter. Constantinople swung around the leading two as they came into the straight. Looked to be making ground until it went into a pace. Jack Galligan checked the horse straight away to get it back into a trot. It was out of play. Sunny G was making steady ground through the middle. Victory Hill was still making up ground. Royal Dan put paid to Funky Monkey early in the straight. 28.8 the last 400. 152.9 for the mile. That's only 1.4 seconds off the record held by Maori Time. And they're saying that horse, Royal Dan, will now go to Jack Trainer to train as well. Sunny G, super consistent. Victory Hill ran a cracker. Funky Monkey, another one that's really consistent, weakened up the straight for fourth. Race 8, the favourite was Last Tango in Heaven at $1.90. There was some speed early in this one. Danger Zone showed speed, so did a Shark, and Last Tango in Heaven on the stable change progressed forward. A Shark crossed and held in a very fast 25-8 first quarter. It led from Danger Zone, Black Onyx and Dark Terror. Running line, Last Tango in Heaven, gliding away, Joni N, Sahara Sirocco and Surfer's Delight. They backed the speed off in the middle stages. 29 seconds was the second quarter. A Shark was throwing out distress signals at the cages. Through the third in 28, a Shark was beaten. Last Tango in Heaven rolled away, and they all started to fan. Gliding away, Joni N, Sahara Sirocco, Surface Delight, they all were going to have their crack. Danger Zone had to come around a Shark and duck back to the inside, but those with momentum were out wide. Joni N and Sahara Sirocco were the ones, with Joni N winning. A reward for consistency. 28 seconds home for a 150.8 mile rate. Dark Terror was good late. Had to wait for Surface Delight to drop off to get its crack and was making ground. Best win of the night. Look, it was a night dominated by favourites and horses that led. I'll go with No Heartthrob. Has put together a really handy record since arriving in Australia. Came from well back to win in the shadows of the post. Might have to take his turn when he gets up in grade with that racing pattern, but he is a progressive horse. I think Jack Trainer's about to hit a bit of a purple patch with a couple of nice horses coming through the grade. So best win of the night will go with No Heartthrob. Best beaten performance of the night, not a lot jump out in this category. I think the place getters in the trot were both good. Thought Double Fear was good in the straight out wide. Dark Terror savaged the line late too in the last, but I'll go with I Break the Line. Sat 3 pegs behind the 2 faves, but I like the way he finished it off. He can win again really soon, so that's I Break the Line. Drive of the night. A lot of the winners led. I'll go with Josh Gallagher on American Spirit. Sped off the gate and then was happy to take a sit on Kitsoon mid-race and then switched around the leaders in the straight. Good drive. So Josh Gallagher gets Drive of the Night.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is...
Mr. T was only in front for 1 week. The update has me on -22 and Mr. T on -35. I got one winner last week with Ryan's Gangster winning. Mr. T got one winner from his 2 with Let Us Nip You winning. If only Mr. T had stuck with Judith Gwenda, who he'd been tipping constantly. Now, obviously, he's upset that I've got back in front because he's not awake on Sunday morning. Don't know where Mr. T's got. Maybe he's studying the form guide, which would be a good place for him to start. So I'll just pass on my 2 for today. I'm going at Menangle Race 7, number 8. It's mine on the line. Won at Bathurst last week in a rating 65. Finds itself in a rating 60. Seaton Grimer back from suspension. I would expect it to be going forward at the start. A lot of respect for Brad Hewitt's mare, especially if it has the cold sit. But I'm going with It's Mine on the line in race 7. And then go to Young on Tuesday night. Race 2, number 7, Buddy Brilliance. It's drawn awkwardly in this race, but since resuming has been racing in great style. Beaten first up from a long spell, but has since put 3 together on end, the most recent being at Dubbo on Friday. Even despite the awkward draw, should take a lot of beating in that field. Race 2, number 7, Buddy Brilliance. Fantasy Harness Racing update, and Champo 71 has re-established that handy lead. Champo 71 is on 15,728 points. Mays is on 15,612. So what's that? A lead of 116. I'm ready to say this one's over. We're still a month to go. Manning 1990 is third on 15,520. So another 92 points back between Mays and Manning 1990. My team clinging onto a spot in that top 100. I'm 76th on 13,856 points. Round 20 was won by Champo 71 with 988 points. That's why that lead was re-established. BJ was second with 981. Luca was third with 970. Big decisions to be made this week. Cam Hart flagged in that interview. He's tossing up between Sydney and Melbourne next Saturday night. Cam has to make the trip to WA for Friday, so he might miss a large part of the week. Robbie Morris, I just texted him. He's going to Melbourne next Saturday night, so decisions with the captain this week. I think you might have to go with Josh Gallagher just in front of Will Rickson. Will looks to have a nice book early in the week. That just about wraps up the podcast for another week. Thank you to Cam Hart and Dennis Day for joining me on the podcast this week. Another big 7 days of harness racing coming up with those feature races in WA and in Victoria. Hope the New South Wales horses race well, and we will pick up a few of the big ones on offer. Have a great week, and I'll catch you again next Sunday for the Sunday session.